A Scottish man named Angus Barbieri redefined the limits of human perseverance when he fasted for a mind-blowing period of 382 days between June 1965 to July 1966. This proves that we can survive without food just fine for extended periods. What about water then? Well, it turns out that even Barbieri, with his superhuman willpower, knew better than neglecting his fluids. During his prolonged test, he survived on tea, coffee, soda water, and vitamins. What if he had tried a similar fast with water out of the equation? He would not have lived to see the fourth day of his fast. Water is the source of life, and we cannot live without it. Period. Yet, 75% of Americans show signs of dehydration. Looking at the numbers, you might also be dehydrated. Want to find out if you are dehydrated or not? Stay tuned till the end of the video as we discuss dehydration in detail. What are its causes and what are the common warning signs of it? So without wasting any time, let's jump right into it. Dehydration. It's a simple equation. Fluids out equals fluids in. The fluids that leave the body or are used up by the body should be replenished through water or through food that contains water. If we don't do this, then we suffer from dehydration. About 2/3 of our body is water, and it is also involved in many critical functions within our body. When this lifeline gets cut off, then we face problems. Okay, so dehydration occurs due to loss of fluids. But what causes loss of fluids? Sweating is the major cause of dehydration. Have you seen those metal cutting machines? The ones that are cutting metal in thin strips. If you notice those machines, you can see that they are spraying some liquid on the part that's being cut to absorb the heat of friction. This is the same mechanism that our body employs to cool off our bodies. So it might be annoying at times to deal with the odor, and you lose important fluids, but it is necessary for the normal functioning of the body. As long as you replenish the lost fluids, you'll be fine. Urination is the other major source of fluid loss. Again, it can't be helped as our kidneys have to filter the blood for contaminants continuously. You just need to replenish the water lost through urine. Finally, illness like diarrhea and vomiting can contribute to rapid fluid loss. Not only do these illnesses result in water loss, but they also contribute to the loss of electrolytes, the minerals that help the brain control different organs and parts of our body. When these minerals get depleted, there are chances of suffering from conditions like coma and stroke. Now that we have gone through what dehydration is and what are the common causes of dehydration, now let's look at the warning signs that can give you the signal that you need to up your water intake game, and you need to do it fast. Number 1. Extreme thirst. The first sign of dehydration is obvious, really. How to tell if you're lacking fluids? Well, you can feel it. Now let's be honest here. We tend to put off water intake to some time later. The time that doesn't come in most cases. When the classic procrastination kicks in, you start making excuses along the lines of, I'll drink water after I'm done with this assignment, or I'll drink water after I'm finishing this video. That doesn't happen and the tasks just keep piling up. It might not be bad in winters, but come summers, and man, it can get dangerous before you know it. The sensible thing is, do what the body tells you to do. In fact, the actual thirst response lags behind dehydration, meaning when you start feeling the thirst, you're already dehydrated. To not give yourself a chance of procrastinating on drinking water, keep it close to you at all times. Buy one of those big bottles. Weird it may look to your coworkers, but we don't care because we're trying to stay hydrated here. Number 2. Dark-colored urine. Now we're entering the dangerous waters. If it already has become so bad that your urine has turned darkish or brownish on you, then you don't need a long lecture on what might be wrong. Even if you say that you don't look at your pee because that's disgusting, I don't believe you. Yes, it is disgusting, but we can't help ourselves but have a look or two, just in case. And it's not that bad of a thing after all, since the color of our urine can tell 1,000 tales about our health, and it can also signal whether or not we're dehydrated. The normal color of pee, by the way, is pale yellow. Yellowish color has something to do with some natural pigments or something. But that's not important here. The important thing is if the color is more towards the darker side, and you don't have any other problems like kidney stones or some injury, then you're most probably dehydrated. Don't worry though, the color won't stick for long. If you rehydrate and then keep meeting your quota of water for the day, then you'll be fine. Number 3. Dehydrated skin. As they say, the skin is the largest organ of our body. An adult carries around 22 pounds of skin, stretching to about 22 feet in length. So if something goes wrong with the body, the skin knows, and we can also get the hint by being a little observant. If your skin has turned barren on you, and the lines are a bit too obvious, then there's a good chance that you are dehydrated. However, just to be clear, dry skin doesn't necessarily mean dehydrated skin. What's the difference, you may ask? Well, dry skin has more to do with the body's natural oils than it has to do with water. You could be perfectly hydrated and still have skin that looks like a cactus. A simple test to identify dehydrated skin is to pinch the skin around your cheeks for a few seconds and then let it go. See if it goes back in place immediately or takes its sweet time in getting there. If it doesn't go back immediately, then you have a dehydration problem. Number 4. Increased heart rate and breathing. Climbing the stairs can be a little tiring, especially if you aren't a big fan of physical activities. You may feel a little fatigued and your heart rate and breathing rate may increase. That's normal. What isn't normal is the constantly loud heartbeat that doesn't go away even when hours pass since physical activity. This is a warning that your body might be giving you, probably saying something like, "Mr. or Miss, you need to change your ways." This effect is associated with reduced amounts of electrolytes in the body, which can interfere with the heart's pumping abilities. If you experience something like this, then your best bet is to visit a doctor. Based on your level of dehydration, he'll just scold you a little and maybe lecture you about the importance of water, or in the worst case, hook you up to a concentrated rehydration fluid to get your engines up and running again. Number 5. Fever and chills. Having fever can be a sign of a lot of things. It is also a warning sign of dehydration. How so, you may ask? Well, this is because when the fluid levels go down, it becomes increasingly difficult to maintain a normal body temperature. The result, of course, is an increase in body temperature that causes fever-like symptoms and chills. The best thing to do in this kind of situation is to contact a doctor, and in the meantime, you can try to lower your temperature by applying ice and wet cloth, and hydrating as much as possible. If things get out of hand and the mercury goes as high as 103 degrees, then you should immediately head for the hospital, as this is an indication of severe dehydration in adults, according to Center of Disease Control, or CDC. Number 6. Dizziness, fainting, and blackouts. If you thought that it couldn't get worse than fever and chills, you were wrong. When things get really out of hand and you start experiencing things like dizziness, fainting, or even blackouts, then it is a clear sign that you need to stop whatever you're doing and head straight to the emergency room. This is more common in summers and in intense heat, but athletes could suffer from this even in the winter. The reason for these symptoms is that the brain also needs water for normal functioning. When you start with a little bit of a shortage of water, the brain cleverly monopolizes the available water towards the critical systems of the body, the brain being the most critical. So your skin might show signs of dehydration, but you won't be feeling dizzy or anything like that because the brain still has water. Things start going south when this supply of water also gets cut off. Now the brain starts to hibernate, and we start to faint. This is where you are taken to the hospital and rehydration fluids are injected into your body, while doctors keep an eye on your condition. To avoid reaching this stage, it's best to keep a check on yourself and try to hydrate as soon as possible on the earliest signs of dehydration. Finally, to summarize, dehydration is the loss of more fluids than you intake. We normally lose fluids through sweating and urination, and we can also lose a lot of fluids due to diarrhea and vomiting. Some of the common symptoms of dehydration include dark urine, dehydrated skin, fever, and chills, among others. Once you know that you are suffering from dehydration, mild or severe, then you should immediately hydrate and see the doctor. You could try a hydrating fluid that is a mixture of salt and sugar and water, as it will help you recover your electrolytes too. Finally, don't let the situation worsen to the point that others need to rush you to the hospital. Make it a habit of drinking 12 ounces of water 6 to 8 times a day, every day. We hope that you benefited from this video. If you did, please hit the like button and share this video with your friends and family so that they know what the symptoms of dehydration are. Want to see more videos like this one? Please subscribe to our channel, Welcome to Wellness, and press that bell icon as well so you never miss another video. We'll see you in another healthy video. Until then, take care.